You know, I was gonna make a video before the main event started. I was gonna title this like "I'm ashamed" because I think I was basically all my predictions were wrong, and you guys told me in the comments of my prediction video like you're a weirdo. Like I like the channel, but those are bold picks. And look, I'll agree. Looking back at it, picking Kopylov, picking Cejudo, picking Paulo Costa, those were crazy picks. I'm not gonna lie. But all these fights were winnable in my opinion for the losers. I mean, Kopylov could have won that. Maybe Kopylov's the guy that had the least amount of chances to win because Hernandez was just a dog in that fight. It just seemed like there was not much Kopylov could do. But on the feet, Kopylov was just so good. I mean, his kicks were vicious, and he could have landed something big. And I thought in the first round he won that round, but it was a tough fight for him with a guy like Hernandez who just seemed like he could eat it all. You know what I mean? So Hernandez is a high level prospect. We'll probably see him again in the future. I mean, he was really impressive. So shout out to Anthony Hernandez, and sorry for not being aware of your game. Respect. Marab, fucking hell, bro. Like, come on, bro. Like, come on, bro. Like, what is this? Cannot believe we're still seeing a Marab victorious. Like, come on. Somebody stop this goblin, please. Cannot stand making videos about Marab. Oh, bro. This is so bad. I mean, look, Henry Cejudo had a good first round. He rocked him. Seemed like more structured in his approach, and also Marab was on the back foot at the beginning of the fight, so it was interesting to see. But Marab just picked it up as the round and the minutes went by and got better and got better and got more vicious and got more tenacious. And it got worse and worse for Cejudo. And, I mean, like I said before, the pace of Marab is impossible to keep up with. And this was a 3-round fight, too. That was crazy. A 5-round fight with Marab is absolutely a nightmare for anybody at 135, in my opinion, unless you catch him with something big early. I mean, he just seems to keep going and get crazier and crazier with every minute that he gets in the cage. He gets more comfortable, and then he just becomes an actual machine. So as much as I despise the character that Marab is, and I cannot relate to him or want to see him succeed for some odd reason, I'm a certified Hall of Fame hater with Marab. I ain't gonna lie, but I mean, I cannot act like it's not working because it is. So respect to him, Henry Cejudo. Great career, but it's time to move on, I guess, right? That's what he said. I mean, he's still pretty decent, but I mean, he's not good enough to be champion right now. And he said he wasn't going to just stick around in the 135-pound division and chill there. So, yeah, most likely it was the last fight for Henry Cejudo's career. Ian Garry versus Jeff Neal. You know what I mean? Ian Garry could have made so much out of this week. I mean, he had so much attention drawn to him, and he didn't do much this week. So I'm a bit disappointed. Just in terms of the press conference and the fight itself, just didn't do much. Not much to say about Ian Garry, to be honest. It is what it is. It was kind of a dull fight. Jeff Neal could have done a little bit more, thrown a bit more, but Ian Garry's so long. So that's what I called this a little bit, just outpoint him on the outside. And yeah, Ian Garry's alright, bro. He's alright. Robert Whittaker versus Paulo Costa. I'm sorry. I don't know why I doubted Robert Whittaker, because deep down inside, okay, I'm gonna be real with you, all right? I'm gonna be 100% real. You're not going to believe me if I say this, but I swear to God this is true. Sometimes my mind plays trick with myself, all right? Or my mind plays trick with me, all right? It's kind of like I know somebody that I want to win is fighting, and I'll tell myself that I want the other guy to win. For some odd reason, I prefer Whittaker over Costa. I've always did. I've always loved Robert Whittaker. But it feels like because I sensed a lot of danger from Costa, I was like, I want Costa to win so that I can be disappointed, because it always feels like I'm disappointed after these big UFC pay-per-views. So I'm just going to pick the guy that I don't want to win to win, so that I get disappointed and the guy that I want, actually deep down want to win, wins. You know what I mean? So, right? You believe me, guys, right? No, but for real, I really was impressed with Whittaker. I had a little bit of doubts in my mind that like Whittaker might have been a little down in terms of confidence, and obviously coming off of a brutal loss like that, and I lost a little bit of trust in Whittaker. I'm not gonna lie. Fighting a guy like Costa, who's so dangerous and powerful, I'm like, if he lands one shot, it could be bad, just one. And I mean, we've seen fights, and I think I'm switching tunes a little bit on Costa. Like, he's a dangerous guy. He's powerful. He's strong, but doesn't seem to land accurately. He never seems to like land that one punch KO. I mean, has he ever KO'd one guy like viciously, one punch KO the way Topuria did it in the main event? I don't even remember. I mean, the last time he KO'd someone was probably like Johnny Hendricks or Uriah Hall, one of these guys, because he didn't KO Romero, he didn't KO Luke, he didn't KO obviously Adesanya. And even like the Johnny Hendricks KO or Uriah Hall, these dudes were not like, they weren't one punch KO. It was like sustained beating. So Costa's not as much of a KO, one punch KO threat as I imagined. And like this fight just proved it. He is strong, he is powerful. You don't want to get hit, but it seems like it doesn't put people out cold the way, Topuria do it. Like, that's the best example, right? Obviously, different weight classes and stuff. Paulo Costa's a big middleweight, but he's fighting other middleweights as well. Whittaker's impressive. Whittaker's good. Whittaker's incredible. And like, I'll just say sorry. I'll just apologize for my mistake, because I knew Whittaker was good, and I knew Whittaker was the better fighter. I swear to God I knew that. But I thought Costa was going to be able to land that shot that would crumble Whittaker, and he didn't. Or at least I should say he did, but Whittaker just stayed there. He was that tough. He was that durable. And like, I was wrong, because I said Whittaker's durability was going to fail him, and it didn't. He stayed in there. He was tough. He was game. And like, it's another example that like, Whittaker has it more than I anticipated, because you look even at the Yoel Romero fight, you can look at some fights where he dig deep in there. You know what I mean? It feels like I ignored those for like recent things that have happened. But in terms of technical MMA fighter, Whittaker is as high level as it comes. I mean, he was making Costa pay for lazy jabs. He was making Costa pay for, bad footwork. He was just so fast as well. So every single time I would see him land, I was like, yo, Whittaker, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for doubting you. You're just that good. And, Whittaker is still a threat at 185, and he's going to be fighting for the title anytime soon, right? This is probably the title eliminator. I don't know if they do, like, Chimaev, or if they do a rematch, or if they do Adesanya. I don't know, but Whittaker is still in the mix, and I'm very happy about it. Costa, I don't know what's next for Costa, to be honest. I don't know what's next. It would be nice to make a video about it. I'll think about it. Maybe a Chimaev fight would be nice. No, I think they should do that. I think they should rebook Chimaev Costa. In the main events, Alexander Volkanovski versus Ilia Topuria. The only bold prediction I had right, and I mean, it just felt like it was bound to happen. Ilia Topuria had the red carpet rolled in front of him, but he had to make it happen. As much as we say there's destiny and fate, and I believe in this, things, bound to happen, or happen for a reason, things happening for a reason, you still have to put in the work to make it happen. And Ilia Topuria did, and he succeeded big time, and he made it look kind of easy. I'm not going to lie, he kind of did. It was just not much coming back from Alexander Volkanovski throughout the fight, and his defense, Topuria's defense, head movement, it was impressive. He's a very, very dangerous featherweight, and I'm not saying this just because of his power, but just because of his style. Seems like he can take a lot, but he can dish even more. So Topuria is a very dangerous dude. He's a scary fighter, and I'm very happy for him, man. I'm very happy for him. Finally, a little bit of change at 145. Topuria is the guy to make it happen. And a lot of you guys were pissed off at him for talking all that shit. But I know you guys are gonna switch tunes now. You know what I mean? This is what I called. I said this in the prediction video, that whenever a fighter talks a lot of shit, as he comes up, he gets thrown a lot of shit back. You know what I mean? The fans don't like it and stuff like that. But up until he wins, up until he succeeds, and when he does, all of those clips, all of the things that the fighter said before, turns into something that us fans are proud of, that us fans bring back. Look, he said this, he called it Mystic Mac, and he predicted it. Now all of a sudden we praise him for doing it. But then when he does it before he succeeds, we're all mad at him. We're calling him cocky and arrogant. I don't understand it. This whole thing, I actually wanted to talk about this. Like, people were making dumb comparisons to Conor McGregor. And like, look, I understand he has a tattoo that looks like him and he stole the belt from Topuria, whatever. But it just seems weird for us fans and the community overall to just compare everything to Conor McGregor. And I understand we do this, I mean, in basketball as well, comparing everything to Michael Jordan, because Conor McGregor is as big as it comes in the MMA world. But sometimes we have to stop, because it just feels like reaching at the highest level. Like, grabbing the belt from the opponent is not the only time that a fighter has done it. You know, a lot of other fighters has done it. And every time someone does something interesting or does the slightest thing similar to what Conor did, they just bring it back up. And I find it a bit weird, because I saw a clip on ESPN MMA. I think it was Topuria saying, like, do something about it to Volk. And they compared it to Conor saying that to Khabib. I'm like, bro, this is just the language vocabulary. Those are two guys that are about to fight, and they say mean things to each other, like do something about it in a press conference. Like, everybody says that. And I think a lot of people are reaching about these comparisons and all this other stuff. Now, I understand. Topuria is kind of bringing this upon him, because he called him out after a win, which is so ridiculous. Like, what? Why would you call out Conor? Like, bro, come on. Like, you're on the verge of superstardom. Don't do this. This is not how we do this. We don't call out a guy that hasn't been a featherweight in 6 years, that hasn't competed in 3 years. No, it's not what we do. So I understand a little bit this backlash that comes from just begging for a Conor McGregor fight. But I'm talking about Topuria and every other fighter that's getting compared to Conor McGregor. In the end, I feel like any fighter that comes up, has a good rise, is popular, and performs well, is always going to be compared to Conor. Oh, what a Conor wannabe. Sean O'Malley as well. What a Conor wannabe. Like, it is what it is. I think trying to be like Conor isn't bad. I mean, he's the most successful guy in the UFC. So calling guys Conor wannabes is a bit cringe. But in the end, it's also like, try to be yourself a little bit. There has to be a little bit of balance in between. But yeah, you guys need to stop reaching with those Conor McGregor comparisons, in my opinion. And as for Alex Volkanovski, I think this is the end. Hold your breath and count to 10. I mean, he's probably going to have some other fights that are relevant and interesting, and we're going to want to see it. But in terms of, like, him as a champion, it's probably over. He's had a great run. You know, he's considered one of the greatest of all time. Arguably the greatest featherweight of all time. And it's the sport. It's the sport of MMA, guys. You must cherish every moment that you have with this belt and as a champion, or even just the glory that you get from it, because it goes by very fast. I mean, this is a little bit of like a life lesson. You must cherish things while they're here, but it's the truth. I mean, Volkanovski seemed like he was champion for so long, and all of a sudden it's done. And it's probably never going to happen again. He's probably never going to hold that belt again. So whenever you do get to that pinnacle of the sport, or just you feel some level of success or happiness in your life, cherish it. Be grateful for it, because it'll be gone soon. Nothing lasts forever, and that's just the reality of the sport. Highest of highs and lowest of lows for this sport. And Volkanovski's has been on top for a long time. It's gonna be interesting to see what he does and who he fights next. But I think, for the 145-pound division, I mean, he's pretty much beat everybody. And even at 155, there's not a lot of fight outside of maybe the BMF belt. But do we want to see Volk fight a Gaethje or Max Holloway, I don't. It's not something I'd be super interesting to see right now, to be honest. So I think Volk needs to take some time off, think a little bit about what he wants to do, and maybe come back in a year and a half, and actually, recover properly from what he's been sustaining, because he's been way too active for a champion. I think there's some downfalls to it. And yeah, getting KO'd 3 months ago is just not, you shouldn't be coming back that soon. That's just not ideal. So, yeah, overall, it was a great card. Let me know what your thoughts are down below. And I'll catch you guys very soon, man. Peace out.